Empower Her India presents an exclusive conversation on menstrual hygiene focusing on rural adolescent girls with Dr. Charmi Shah.
So, to begin, hello everybody. We are very excited to be hosting this very important conversation. It is a very, very important topic, menstrual hygiene, among rural adolescent girls. There is a problem, there is lack of access, there is lack of proper information regarding menstrual hygiene and management, and that is something we would like to address today. And so for that, we have a very esteemed guest with us today, Dr. Charmi Shah. I just want to quickly, give everybody the background, your background. So let me just quickly read it out. Dr. Charmi Shah is an obstetrician and gynecologist based in Valsad, Gujarat, specializing in comprehensive women's healthcare from family planning to childbirth. You combine your expertise with the latest advancements to treat your patients. And you also contribute to health education as a medical content consultant. So a very, very big welcome to you, Dr.
Thank you so
Charmi.
much.
Just before we dive into it, I want to speak a little bit about Empower Her as well.
Yes.
It's a non-profit, Empower Her, organizing, we are a non-profit which focuses on women and girls. We have a rich history of working with education, health, financial inclusion for rural women. Now we focus largely on adolescent girls, particularly in the space of hygiene, health, hygiene, nutrition, gender, and life skills. So these are our core areas. And the idea is that girls don't have proper access to resources. We need to give them the tools and the skill sets to be able to thrive, and that is really our focus. And of course, on the 28th was menstrual hygiene and menstrual hygiene day. So I suppose it is important to have these conversations around. It gives us an opportunity to talk about some very important areas. So without spending too much any more time, let's get on with some of the important questions that I would like to ask you. So, Dr. Charmi, to begin, if we can just talk a little bit about there are plenty of misconceptions and belief systems that are built around menstruation.
Yes.
And just to give you a simple example is lack of information or misinformation about, say, menstrual cups.
Yes.
And this only increases as you go into the rural parts.
Yes.
So how do you address this? So why is it especially important to talk about this with adolescents?
See, adolescent is an age group where we can educate them about everything related to menstruation, be it menstrual hygiene, menstrual cycle, everything about menstruation, and both to girls and boys. So it is an
Yeah.
age when the girls are in the period of confusion. That what is this? Why is it happening to me? Is it only happening to me? So this is the age when we can educate them every aspect about menstrual cycle and menstrual hygiene. So the misconceptions start when they are not educated about it. So this period, the adolescent phase, the age group,
Yeah.
is very important to educate them about these practices and about the misconception, myths, and all. So this message does not spread forward.
Yeah. So, I mean, in my experience, some of the barriers that I have seen in this, while you're absolutely right that this is the crucial age when the right messages need to go.
Yes.
Some of the barriers also are, cultural barriers where if you talk about school, teachers are hesitant to talk about this.
Yes.
And similarly at home as well.
Yes.
That is because of that taboo around it. I think even mothers, fathers, so definitely, but mothers also don't openly speak and prepare the girl for the
Yes.
changes that are to come.
Yes.
So,
So these this has been going since long. Even when I was small, I was in adolescent age
Yeah.
group, and we had this chapter of menstruation in science, in our science subject. The boys used to laugh and the girls used to think, what is this
Yeah.
happening with us, and what is this, and what are we learning, because the teachers are also hesitant to
Yeah.
teach. So
Yeah.
in among all this, there is confusion, and there is more and more confusion
Yeah.
to the students.
Yeah.
So first step we need to address at the basic level, that is the schooling level.
Yeah.
If the schools teach properly or educate them properly, there is no need of. Also, secondly, parents also need to
Yeah.
take equal efforts to teach
Yeah.
their children,
Yeah.
both girls and boys.
Yeah. So I suppose one of the solutions to this could be one is that a school is essentially where there's a
Yes.
concentration of children of that certain
Yes.
age group. So it becomes a low hanging fruit in that sense to be able to address these issues in that area. And also, what you're saying is need to build the capacity of our teachers in
Yes.
order for them to effectively
Yes.
kind of, I would say, deliver the right kind of messaging to the adolescents. Okay.
Also now we are noticing that more people are aware, more girls are aware, more the next generation, the Gen
Yeah.
Z and the other
Yeah.
generations, they are
Yeah.
more aware. They know everything. They have every information, since the internet is accessible so much now.
Yeah.
So but sometimes they misinterpret the information also. So it is our duty to guide them that this is right and this is wrong, because
Yeah.
information will be so much in the internet that
Yeah.
there is no stopped end to this.
Yeah. So I also read somewhere, there was a report I was reading where it stated that the penetration of sanitary napkins and cleaner ways of maintaining hygiene during menstruation has increased exponentially over the last couple of
Yes,
years. Is
yes.
that the case?
Yes, because people are now more aware. So that is, they are following the proper menstrual hygiene practices, and it is good. It is, in a way, it is
It's
very
a
good.
positive change, you would
Yes,
say. Okay,
yes.
interesting. So I'll go on to my next question. What are the potential health risks if adolescents don't maintain good menstrual hygiene? And what are
Yes.
some of the practical tips that, as a doctor, you can give for in order for them to stay healthy during their periods?
Some of the health risks, I think most of the people might be knowing, but first being most common is the UTI, as
Yeah.
the urethra and vagina are very near to each other. So the bacteria in the menstrual blood may migrate into the urethra and cause urinary tract infections. Also,
Yeah.
there are chances of reproductive tract infections, the fungal infection, bacterial vaginosis, that because the urethra, cervix, vagina,
It's
everything,
all in
anal
one
area, it's all,
area.
yes, it is very much near. So the chances of infection increases. Another rare infection which occurs is toxic shock syndrome. It is very rare, but it occurs due to a bacteria called Staphylococcus aureus, and if it most common reason of it may be if tampons are left inside for too long.
I've heard. I was just going to mention that I've heard about this shock syndrome in the context of tampons.
Yes, so that
Yeah.
it is rare, it is dangerous, it is very rare.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Another thing which we are, normally many women face is skin irritation and rashes if they do not change their menstrual product, whichever they are using from time to time, or due to the moisture, there is a bad odor which they feel during
Yeah.
their menstrual phase. And sometimes health risk, we cannot say the health risk, but there is psychological impact also to the women or to the female or to the girls, that if they are not properly following menstrual hygiene practices, then there may be stress, anxiety, low self-esteem. All of this occurs due to not practicing menstrual health hygiene.
Yeah.
So, practical tips may be first regularly changing the menstrual product, whichever they are using. If they are using pads and tampons, then 6 hours is the ideal time, 6 hours. And if they are using a menstrual cup, then 8 to 12 hours is the ideal time. Another thing is they need to clean clean properly their area, genital area, with warm water and non-scented soap. Not non-scented soap, and clean from front to back.
Yeah.
That is very important, not from back to front,
Yeah.
as the bacteria may
Yeah.
come in the urethra and vagina. So
Yeah.
and after using their I mean, after using the toilet, they can
Yeah.
properly clean and dry the area, not to keep it wet. I
Yeah. Moist.
routinely advise the patients who have vaginal infection or the girls who have vaginal infection to not keep the area wet, keep it dry, because everyone has the whenever they go to washroom, they already clean with clean water, but they keep it
Yeah.
wet.
Yeah.
So it is not to be kept wet.
Yeah.
That is very much needed. Another thing is, keep an extra pair of your pads or menstrual cup wherever a female is going, if because we cannot predict what can happen when. So it is necessary to keep extra product whichever they are using. Then if they are having pain or discomfort, then they can keep over the counter medication. They can wear breathable, comfortable clothes.
Yeah.
And for, main thing is to educate them about
Yeah.
this. If they're
Yeah.
educated,
Yeah.
they will not face any problem.
Yeah, I feel like with in the urban cities with adolescents, they still have a little more exposure to information. But
Yes.
say, for instance, the areas that my organization Empower Her works, it is in very rural. Plenty of
Yes.
villages we work are in tribal areas, so I feel like there is certainly lack of information there, and so then it becomes very important to speak about these things and let it, like, break those stereotypes and taboos around this, and like you said, men should also be talking about
Yes.
this. So this is something that I am curious about, and I would say it is more behavioral than anything else. Menstrual cups are effective. They can be more hygienic. They're more long lasting and more economical also for a
Yes.
lower income group.
Yes.
But the uptake has been very, very poor. Even in urban areas with even people belonging to better income households, you still see that women are reluctant to adopt the menstrual cups. Why do you think that is the case?
I think they are used to, first thing, they are used to this menstrual pads which they are using. Secondly, the technique involved, it has to be properly educated to them how to use menstrual cup, how to sterilize the menstrual cup. Once they know how to do it, they will. I have seen people who have started using menstrual cup, they will not use anything else. So they are more comfortable in menstrual cups. Also, I have seen many young girls, the adolescent and young girls, the 10, 12-year age group girls, those who are be like, we are using menstrual cups, then the other girls will be like, I don't know anything about menstrual cup, what to do, how to do, and then they will tell their mothers that we want to use menstrual cup. But mothers also don't know how to use menstrual cup since they have not used menstrual cups. So another thing is the menstrual cup sizes. For the girls, the size is very small. For the women, after the delivery of the child, the size is very big. So
Okay.
according to the
That
size, they need
also
to be
matters.
educated. Yes, that
See,
needs
that's
to be
something even I
educated.
didn't know about the size of the menstrual cup. So it's very
Yes.
interesting. Yeah.
Yes, the
Okay.
size
So,
is, they need to know their size, what
right.
size fits them at what
Yeah.
age.
Yeah.
So that is very
Yeah.
important.
I suspect in rural areas there's also an aspirational value which is associated with pads, because and maybe that's also the reason why many women might gravitate towards pads, sanitary napkins.
Yes. Also, it is
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
similar to the cloth pad which they were using in the past. the
Yeah.
reusable cloth pads. So they think that
Yeah.
this is disposable cloth pad, like just like cloth pad. So it is easy to accept for them.
Yeah. Now let's come to another topic, which is a little more harder to address, or I would not call it controversial, but more in terms of what is the solution. We have already touched upon it. There was a horrible incident that happened maybe 6 to 8 months ago in Maharashtra itself, where a girl, the brother of a girl, young girl. She was 12, 13 years old. He killed her. It was like a murder because she was menstruating. He did not know. She thought she was having an affair. It was like
Yes, I heard about it.
it was very disturbing actually. These are very real consequences of lack of information and education, I suppose.
Yes.
So how does one, like, where do you start with something like this,
Firstly, boys and men need to be educated about menstruation, menstrual cycle, menstrual hygiene, everything, because it needs to be normalized.
Yeah.
It is very much seen as a taboo or a stigma or a shameful event. It is not shameful, it is very much normal. It needs to be educated to them. First thing is that. Second thing, educating them will lead to gender equality. Not in a sense, it will break down all the stereotypes that only women
Yeah.
have a menstruation. It doesn't affect men. It is not like that. It affects men also, boys
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
But that needs to be educated. Another thing is, if they are educated, then there is supportive responsibility from their side. If they know that a female is going through the menstrual cycle, then they can understand what a woman faces, what challenges do they face, how they can support them. That will help. If they know what is happening, then they can help. If they do not, then it is not possible.
Yeah.
Also, if see, we are still very much in a patriarchal
Yeah.
society. So if men are educated, they can bring very big impact in the female this menstrual thing.
Yeah.
So because any political leader you see, the ratio of male to female is always male is more.
I think
So
in every sector that's the case.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So they need to be educated first, so that the big event, well, everyone can be educated, so they
Yeah.
can have more power to this.
Yeah, and I think that there is an impact on the work environment for a woman as well,
Yes, yes,
because the right kind of policies can be framed at an
yes,
organizational, institutional level when even the men, they understand the implications of menstruation, the side effects of it, or whatever you want to, however you want to word it. And like there was a huge uproar in like a parliamentary debate recently with regards to menstrual
yes,
leave, and it is a very contentious topic because particularly because of these reasons, right? Like there is not enough understanding of what happens when a woman is menstruating. So okay, thank you for that. So the if you know that in the ideal situation would be that in because we work in rural areas, I keep going back to villages, right? Because
yes,
that's where the resource constraints are, and that's what I want to address. That, see, in an ideal situation, every location would have affordable sanitary napkins, etc., but that's not the case. So in such a place where, say, there is no availability, as a doctor, what would you say would be what are the alternate ways of
yes.
ensuring that the people are
So
safe
see,
and
once
clean?
once during our conversation, I mentioned about the cloth pads. So the reusable cloth pads, the normal, comfortable, soft fabric, cotton fabric cloth pads, which
Yeah.
are made customizable according to the size and thickness which a women want. Some women have more flow, some women have less flow. So they can be used in such a way that they can be customized according to the female. Any old cotton fabric which is there in their home, they can use it according to their need. One thing is to be ensured that it has to be cleaned with soap and water after every use and sun dried, because sun is natural antibacterial thing,
Yeah.
so it will help in hygiene, mostly the maintaining hygiene. So that is the first thing that can be used. Another thing is the menstrual cup, which they are not yet educated about, and they do not know, and they are reluctant to apply it in their daily activities. But slowly and steadily, as you are and other NGOs and everyone will educate the people, they will come to know and they will come to use. So it is very economical, environment friendly. Menstrual cups can be used according to me. Then another thing is the at rural level na, they make cloth pads, matlab they ready-made cloth pads. So
Yeah.
it gives them what we say, it gives them business to work at rural area also, and it will help them supply in the rural areas the reusable cloth pads which they make. They take some cotton fabric and stitch them together and make just like the disposable uh, pads.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, another thing is which routinely the urban girls and female know is the reusable period panties, but it is not still in the rural areas.
Okay.
The period panties which are available, but
Yeah.
since I have no personal experience, I do not know how it works, but
Yeah.
it can be an option.
Right. Yeah. So I
Yes.
suppose, I mean, with time and in the next couple of years, we'll be able to see a little more awareness about
Yes.
this. Anyway, there has been a substantial growth in the number of girls and women moving to sanitary pads. I
Yes.
think, of course, cost is a huge barrier for them in accessing. There are plenty of very, very poor families that can just not spend that 100, rupees per month, or
Yes.
even 50 rupees a month for that. But slowly and steadily, I think things are turning around. So I think we've covered a lot. I think I would like to hear just some last final thoughts from you in terms of the importance of menstrual hygiene, whether it is directly or through education. What would be the key message that if there is an adolescent or adolescents who are listening to you right now, what would be the key message as a doctor that you would want to give them? One or two things, takeaways which they can remember.
So it is not only about teaching them how about their periods. It is about understanding their bodies, promoting their health and well-being, and breaking all the societal barriers. So knowing how to manage, matlab, how to follow the menstrual hygiene will help them preventing infections, understanding how. Understanding how to use different types of menstrual product, and they can have their choice in which they are comfortable. They can know which menstrual products are affordable and accessible to them. So that also they can know long term implications also. If they are not following proper menstrual hygiene, then what are the long term implications? Like right now, if we see the diet and repeated infections and the lifestyle which all females have now, the ratio of PCO has increased to you can see PCO female like anything.
Yeah.
You in my OPD, I have daily minimum 2 or 3 teenage girls who have
Yeah.
PCO. We
Yeah.
can, as according to our literature, we cannot label any female below 18 as PCO, but they are going to have PCO after they are 18. So we
Yeah.
can see right now only. So other
Yeah.
things, so the long term implications of educating, if they are educated, they know what to do,
Yeah.
where to prevent such things,
Yeah.
where to prevent infections.
Yeah.
Also, the sexually transmitted infections. The adolescent age group is very prone to
Yeah.
these things also. So they need
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
educated about this also. Also, they will, if they learn about all this, they will have a proper self-esteem, proper confidence, and they can, if they know they are better, but they can teach other
Mm.
girls also, because
And
that
the
is the
mothers also.
peer age group
Yeah.
which they all follow each other, na, that she's doing
Yeah.
this, she's
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that can help.
Yeah. No, I mean this has been really helpful because I think this is the need of the hour. I have seen um, so many girls who are absolutely clueless
Yeah.
about these things. I think there's a question says how can rural adolescent girls who experience extreme menstrual pain leading to school dropouts? Very good question. Manage the
Yes.
symptoms. Could exercise, over-the-counter medicines help?
Yes, exercise and over the counter medications help, but if the problem is long standing, they need to be evaluated for other problems also.
Yeah.
So
If it's
that is,
something persistent, then it needs
yes,
to be investigated.
yes,
Got it. Great. No, super. Thank you so much,
yeah.
Dr. Shah. I mean, it's really been a very educational conversation, I think. And thank you for your time, and thanks to everybody who joined this live this evening. And you can head over to www.empowerherindia.org in case you want to learn more about what we do. You want to support us, support our mission. Please go and learn more about us. Thank you so
Thank
much, everybody. Thank you,
you.
Dr. Charmi. Lovely talking to you.
Yeah.
For more such informative content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Empower Her India.